I'm JP Tuesday.
And I'm Kiki Cannon. As lifelong Disney fans, the work of countless talented Disney creatives have shaped our lives.
Now, as the Disney catalog expands, we're taking a journey through film and television to discover if that spark that shaped us as children lives on in adulthood.
Does your favorite Disney media still cast that same spell? Join us as we find out. We are Rewatching the Magic.
Hi, Kiki.
Hi, Tuesday.
We are still in the spooky season, and spooky season means many things. Spooks, specters, things that go bump in the night, and that also counts aliens. So we are going to be talking about solar opposites, Halloween specials. We've talked about solar opposites in the past, doing a retrospective on season 1 back when it came out, but we are not alone.
We're not?
We
Is
are
somebody
not.
watching us?
I'm here too.
Our very own pupa, Lindsay Smith.
Pupa now, everybody.
Lindsay Smith, our good friend who's been on the podcast before. What is your connection to the TV show Solar Opposites?
Well, Solar Opposites, I started as a character designer partway through season 1. Then about halfway through season 2, they promoted me to character lead. Then at the end of season 2, our art director was like, hey, I'm leaving. Do you want to be art director? And I said, that would be a terrible idea. And they're like, what if we pair you up with someone? And I said, okay, fine. And then I was art director for seasons 3, 4, and 5. And then on season 6, they wanted to go back to just having one art director. So I went back to being character lead, which I was much more comfortable in. So I have been all over this show from the first season, and I've loved every minute of it.
And as this episode is being released, the final season of Solar Opposites will be dropping on Hulu. Sad to see the show coming to an end. It's definitely one of those shows that you feel like would be like Simpsons or Family Guy that would go on for a billion years.
Yeah, we were all very sad for it to end. I think we would have been happy just making that show forever because it was a fun show to work on. The whole crew and including the people running the show were just a joy to work with. And so I think we're all spoiled for whatever our next projects are. But yeah, 6 seasons is an amazing run for a show. We were very lucky to get that amount, but we all wish that we could have just kept on going.
Especially for a streaming show.
I was going to say that, especially a show for streaming.
Yeah.
Almost nothing gets that on streaming these days.
Yeah.
And I remember when the show came out, Hulu was releasing the numbers that it was, at least season 1 was the most streamed show. When
it was my understanding that, at least within, the week that our episodes or seasons would drop, that we were one of, the top 2 highest, most watched shows on Hulu. So we did okay. So I don't know. I don't fully understand what makes them decide to pick things up versus not. There's some of it that I know, but I think some of it's just I don't know, the algorithm said no.
I'm just sad we won't get Solar Opposites the movie anytime soon.
Yeah.
But the final season of Solar Opposites on Hulu as we speak. And recently on Netflix?
Yeah, we're on Netflix now for reasons I don't know why we're on Netflix now, which it's very funny because this show is full of jokes about being on Hulu, including an episode where the Solars go to Hulu Land. I haven't watched that episode yet. I haven't heard about our post team being made to, reanimate whole swaths of the show. So I think it's probably just up there as is. But yeah, I need to watch that episode and find out if we try to do some kind of stupid little dance around all the Hulu jokes.
It kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you two would remember this. They would put Pinky and the Brain and Tiny Toon Adventures and Animaniacs on Nickelodeon. And Nickelodeon made edits to cut out any mention of Warner Brothers. So those intros would be filled with Nickelodeon logos and the jokes was pertaining, which is really weird considering it's Animaniacs and they are literally the Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
I do not remember that, but now I want to go look that up and see if anybody has footage of that on YouTube or something.
It's on YouTube. Yeah, just look up the
Man.
Nickelodeon intros for those three shows, and you will see how they altered it to remove any mention of Warner Brothers.
That's insane, and I have to go look that up after we're done recording. Thank you for giving me my evening rabbit hole to go down. Before we go any further, let us give our little help me out, Tuesday.
Solar Opposites is a TVMA show, meaning
Not
that
for babies.
not for little ones.
Not for pupa.
Not for pupas. So we are aware that some of our listeners do like to listen to this show with their little ones. And if you're one of those people that like to listen with the little ones, you might want to sit out this episode, or at least listen to this episode ahead of time and make the decision yourself whether you should listen to this with the little ones or not. There will be lots of talk of adult situations using adult words. This is your final warning. We will not be accepting blowjob coupons on this podcast.
I'll say we will be back next week with a very nice family-friendly episode. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I helped design those. I designed those blowjob coupons.
Oh, anyway, Planet Schlorp was a perfect utopia until the asteroid hit. 100 adults and their replicants were issued a pupa and escaped into the space, searching for new homes on uninhabited worlds. We crashed on Earth, stranding us in an already overpopulated planet. That's right, I've been talking this whole time. I'm the one holding a pupa. My name's Corbo. Earth sucks. That's the intro.
That's about the gist of it.
Yes, that is Solar Opposites.
I think I probably said this when we did our first episode on Solar Opposites, but I knew I was going to like this show just from the point where Corvo was like, Earth sucks, I hate people, why am I here? Everything about this is awful. I was like, yes, I feel you.
The fact that the show came out in the middle of the pandemic probably added to that.
Yeah.
Earth
Yeah, that
sucks,
too.
people suck. Yeah, Earth sucks, people suck. So let's watch a show about aliens. But, yeah. Like I said, we talked about season 1 previously. I know there was an episode in season 1 where they go into a Halloween store.
Yeah, so I think it's episode 2 or 3 when Corvo creates the Red Goobler. They have to go fight the Red Goobler in a Halloween store, and that's where we learn that Corvo is deathly afraid of Halloween and anything spooky.
And that is referenced in the Halloween specials. So, Lindsay, when the word came to you that, hey, we're doing a Halloween special, we need some Halloween characters designed, what was going through your head?
I mean, I was ecstatic. I love Halloween. Yeah, I was excited to get to design some scary monsters. For the first special in the script, the way that hell was described was like the illustrations from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And so we did our best. I don't know if we quite hit that, but we were all very excited to try to create some like gross, creepy monsters. And then when we hit the second Halloween special and the script talked about the first witch being like this very classic Halloween witch, and the little witchlet being this kind of creepy, gross, monstery version, I was like, oh, I am so taking those. Like those I designed those because I was just very excited to play around in classic Halloween witch designs. So yeah, I was very happy that we did the first one, and so excited that we decided to, having run out of all other holidays, do a second Halloween special that is technically a Thanksgiving special as well.
No Solar Opposites Arbor Day special?
No. We make a joke about a potential holiday special in our final season, but spoiler alert, there's no holiday special in the final season. Boo-hoo.
Sadness.
I will say there were two kind of, I'm not sure if the first one counts as a design thing, but when I was doing the rewatch, I was like, why does the vibe feel so familiar to me? And so in the first special, you mentioned, the hell parts where Yumulek is in hell. And I kept going, why does this, not necessarily the design, but like the vibe felt kind of familiar to me. And then about halfway through the episode, it hit me. And it's the same vibe as one of my favorite episodes of Aqua Teen Hunger Force, which is the Brood Witch episode.
I have not watched enough Aqua Teen to know, but
you really should look up the Brood Witch episode, because there's a episode where Master Shake is given a sandwich that if you eat it, you get cursed and you get sent to like this hell dimension to be tortured by demons. And he keeps taking bites of it, and Freylock keeps going like, no, Shake, you're not, like, no, don't take bites of that. You keep going to this hell dimension. And every time he goes to the hell dimension, the demons frequently don't realize he's there. And so the demons are just kind of having this like talk between themselves, like, yeah, I keep putting my collectibles up on the shelf, and my wife says, like, it's just not a thing. She wants to baby proof the house, and she says that the collectible severed heads in jars are not baby safe. And I keep saying, but like, I've worked hard to collect these things. And it's just like a really boring thing. And Shake's just standing there, like, gnawing on the sandwich, like watching these two demons talk, And the way that Yumulak is just kind of like so chill while the demons are trying to be like evil about it, it gave me that same kind of vibe of like how it's supposed to be like, ooh, spooky, evil, and Yumulak's like, yeah, you could do with like sprucing this place up a little more, It's not really giving me like scary, but
I do like that, though. Yumulak is from space. He's seen things that most Earthlings could only imagine. So seeing Earth's hell wouldn't be all of that exciting for him.
Yeah. He's an unimpressed teenager.
I mean, we don't know what Schlorp hell looks like. At least I haven't seen the Schlorp hell. But, one could only imagine what Schlorp hell looks like in comparison to Earth hell.
Sure, I guess, like, what is hell for plants?
Yeah.
Alien plants, too.
Yeah.
And that is also, he keeps calling this, like, fantasy stuff, He keeps calling the hell dimension, like, fantasy, and he keeps going, like, I'm more sci-fi. So, like, is Schlorpian hell more like Event Horizon?
Maybe.
Like, I mean, it's still kind of based on our concepts of hell, but, like, or is it more like Hellraiser? I mean, I know that's a bit cliche, and of course, Rick and Morty kind of went into that too, but like...
Maybe, considering the hypersexualized nature of the four characters?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that when I made that connection just now, but you're right. I mean, this is like an overly hypersexualized show.
Yes, that's true.
Lindsay, did you not maybe have a story about it being a hypersexual?
That's my lead-in.
It might be.
So yeah, they're not in either of these episodes, but in the first season, there is a scene where Principal Cook is eating Miss Frankie's ass, and that was the only special pose from that episode. And when we were designing that episode, my art director, because at the time I was just a character designer, my art director sends me a message on Slack, and she goes, I'm assigning this to you. Is that okay? And I said, yes, that's fine. And so I designed it, and the episode aired, and I was later talking to my mom about the episode, and she's like, there's a scene where one character just eats another character's ass. Like, stuff just happens in this show. And I said, yeah, Mom, I drew that. She's like, oh, good job, sweetie.
Did you need someone to model that for you?
No. The storyboard artists did a fine job drawing it.
What's so funny is like knowing your mom a little bit, I could totally hear her like going through that entire like, wow, this is like a really insane TV show. Oh, you drew that? Oh, sweetie, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, She's where I get the dirty part of my sense of humor.
Yeah.
The other part of that story is at one point I was in an elevator with Rob Schraub, who is the voice of Principal Cook. And, he was introducing himself. He's like, yeah, I play Principal Cook on the show. And I said, oh, I just drew your character eating another character's ass. And I think it made him uncomfortable.
I cannot imagine something that tame making Rob Schraub uncomfortable.
I mean, I don't think it was that. I think it was that I was in front of him telling him, like, hi, I'm a sweet lady and I'm in an elevator with you telling you I just drew this. And he's like, oh, okay. When I've talked to him, he is like a very nice but mildly awkward man.
Yeah, that goes with everything I've heard about him. Speaking of voice actors, in this first episode, bravo to whoever put it together. There is, the entire, I don't know whether I guess it's the A plot, is that, we get Jesse and Terry create a Crypt Keeper, and John Kassir is the voice of the Crypt Keeper.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, that's my favorite of this episode.
What the actual fuck? You get John Kassir, the actual Crypt Keeper, to do the voice of this Crypt Keeper in what a coup.
Yeah.
And he slides back into that voice like nothing, like no time has passed.
Yeah, I would have loved to have been at those recording sessions because I bet that was really fun.
So, I don't know, since you were the character designer of going into okay, we have to draw the Crypt Keeper, but we can't have it be too much like the HBO show because we don't have the rights, but we have John Kassir to do the voice. What was that about?
I mean, it's basically just, I tell my artist to, design a Crypt Keeper that is different enough from the actual Crypt Keeper to get away with it. And so we kind of have this creepy skeletal ghoul thing. Then we, after getting it approved by the showrunners, presented to the legal team, and we made it different enough that we were able to get it through. And yeah, it's like, I don't always know what their criteria are for what is too close and what is acceptable. So sometimes we just kind of have to try stuff. But yeah, I actually don't think that one was very difficult. I think we managed to, I don't think legal made us change anything. I mean, I think we were able to use what we designed.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if there was a lot of back and forth with legal about that, because I've heard with other things, like I know, just being like a big fan of Venture Brothers and having heard the creators talk about all of their parody stuff, about how much that they sometimes had to do to get around legal stuff when they were doing parodies of various Marvel characters and stuff,
Yeah, it really depends on what property we're trying to parody, because some properties are less litigious or are small enough that not to care or whatever. But it's in season 5 we have this episode where we're seeing just the bottom halves of a bunch of Nintendo characters' legs, and that went through a bunch of legal things. I think at one point, I forget what we started off with. It wasn't Nintendo originally. It's probably better that I don't remember, but it's it was basically no, this entity is very litigious. We have to change it to this, and it can't look too much like it. Or at the end of near the end of this first Halloween special, Corvo runs through the haunted frozen haunted
I was gonna say even Disney within Disney is very tight.
Well, I did those frozen character standees, and we had to change those a bunch because at first they were apparently too close to the frozen characters.
Disney within Disney is very, very weird. Yeah. Because, I'm a fan of the Kingdom Hearts series. Despite all of it being Disney, there are certain characters that cannot be in that game because of the way Disney divides all of these different properties up. Like, you can have Goofy, but you can't have Max. You can have Pixar characters and Disney characters, but you can't have Marvel or Star Wars, even though it's all under the Disney umbrellas. Seeing the legally distinct Frozen characters, it's like, okay, even, Disney's not going to have their big family friendly money making franchise be parodied too closely in this TVMA streaming show.
Yep.
To me, it just always makes my brain hurt because I'm like, wow, who cares? Who cares other than like 3 lawyers, you know?
The shareholders, the most important people in the world.
Yeah, the shareholders don't actually care. That's the thing, is the shareholders don't actually care. It's really just like a scam, and then one person at the corporation goes like, I didn't like this, and I'll blame it on the shareholders. But in reality, the shareholders really don't care. All the shareholders care about is line go up. If line go up, shareholders don't care. I want to kind of talk a little bit about the kind of the main plot of the first episode a little bit, because you were talking about like that first season episode with the Goobler and how we found out that Corvo doesn't like Halloween and that this plays off of that. But I do love how this goes deeper into that. And I do love that the love and hate of Halloween is split between the Corvo Yumulak on the hatred side and then Terry and Jesse on the love side.
Yumulak is definitely Corvo's kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I was gonna say. They're both like, it's very much with the replicants, like you can tell, like, I was a cutting from you, like, and so you have Terry and Jesse like really wanting to be in the Halloween spirit, and then Corvo is like scared by Halloween, and then Yumulak just really does not care. He's the disaffected teenager, as you said, Lindsay. And I love that divide in the household, and I love that Terry and Jesse want to participate in the Halloween, block decoration thing with the one crazy guy, and then you find out that the one crazy guy, like, he doesn't really want to do Halloween either. He just kind of became known as the Halloween guy, and then he got stuck with it.
I mean, I think everyone knows that one person who's known as the whatever guy, like, that's what they're known for. And no matter how hard they try to get out of that, they're always going to be known as, well, that's the Star Trek guy. That's the Marvel guy. That's the football guy. And after a while, it's this quirk, this hobby they had, which now becomes their sole known personality trait to everyone they know. It no longer becomes fun for them. I kind of feel for that, for the character.
Yeah. I'm more than just Halloween.
Yeah, the thing is that I do kind of feel for him, but what's the thing? You're not wrong, but you're just an asshole,
Yeah.
It's that thing,
I don't know how he was going to make a haunted house work year round, because there have been businesses that have tried to do that, and it kind of fails miserably every single time.
Yeah, I mean, he probably didn't think this through, much like he didn't think through murdering his neighbor.
Yeah, or, trying to get the Great Pumpkin. But, since it is that time of year, it's the thing of, I just saw it again today. There's that meme that goes around that's like, I wish Spirit Halloween was open all year round so that I could buy home decor all year. And like, the two of you know that like a ridiculous friend of mine just offered me like a shopping spree to Spirit Halloween last week.
Ooh.
As we're recording this, and that friend learned a very valuable lesson about don't offer spoopy crazed ferrets free for all in Spirit Halloween, because that did not turn out well for that friend's bank account.
Oh, surely they must have known.
No, because they had never been to a Spirit Halloween store before.
No.
And especially not with me. And they went, oh, I want to see what Spirit Halloween is about. I'll take you there and buy whatever you want. And that was a stupid thing for them to say. But I did get a lot of home decor.
Hey.
I'm surprised you didn't walk out with an animatronic.
Actually, I did. It was just a small animatronic. They did have a brand new animatronic Tiffany doll from the Chucky series.
Ooh.
So I did, in fact, walk out with an animatronic. Thank you very much. It's just a life-size Tiffany doll. You know, it's like a 1.5 feet tall. So it's not like an outdoor, whatever. But it's a Tiffany doll.
Amount of restraint.
It speaks with Jennifer Tilly's voice. The mouth and the head move. Gorgeous. Yeah, no.
Your own personal Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah, I know.
Well, in Burbank, we do have a year-round Halloween store. In fact, we have, at this point, a few year-round spooky stores. So if you make it out to LA again, I will take you to them. I will not buy you whatever you want, but I will watch you go nuts in the store.
You are smarter than the last friend.
I learned from others' mistakes.
Yes. Speaking of learning from others' mistakes, the big thing we have to talk about before we leave this first episode is that Corvo ends up killing the Great Pumpkin.
This is true.
Yeah, that being a classic Halloween reference, obviously a reference to the Charlie Brown cartoon. But in the cartoon, we never see the Great Pumpkin. I mean, it's just this thing that Linus made up because, write to the Great Pumpkin like kids do writing to Santa Claus at Christmas. So having to design what the Great Pumpkin looks like, that'll be another question I would give to Lindsay. I don't know if it was you or one of your team members or what.
That was one of my team members, and yeah, I think our showrunner just said like he looks like a big friendly jack-o'-lantern guy, and then we sent him a few options, and that was another one that I think we landed on pretty fast. And then because we never actually see the Great Pumpkin in the Charlie Brown specials, we weren't beholden to an existing design. We didn't have to dance around that, so we could just kind of have fun with it. So yeah, I think we just designed a big friendly jack-o'-lantern and that's what we got.
It is a really good design.
And then Corvo just carves it to shit.
And voiced by Phil Lamar, which, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, Corvo just absolutely scoops the guts out of the thing. And we think like, okay, that's it. But when we come back to the second special, which is awesomely a direct, follow-up, which is what I love about this show, is how absolutely tight-knit the stories are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for a show like this, like The Simpsons doesn't even have this kind of continuity after 30 years. They make jokes about continuity, but they don't really have it. Or Family Guy or American Dad or even Bob's Burgers. These Fox animation shows really have no continuity unless it's done as a joke. But Solar Opposites has pretty good continuity with itself. Whether it's family dynamic, whether it's the side characters, whether it's the wall characters, all of that plays into each other.
Yeah, I think our showrunner and writers like to play around with like reminding the audience of all the stupid stuff that we've done. Plus, when we need to cut out some work and make things easier on ourselves because these episodes are insane and we have no time, it's easier to reuse stuff and, go back to those existing characters than create something completely new. Because they want big, insane episodes and they don't always want to give us the time and the money to make them.
And concerning it's also a streaming show, it's easy to go back and watch those old episodes and see how everything fits into each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the second episode, the solar opposites are trying to get into this posh country club where there are other aliens there, such as the alien from Aliens and the Klingon from Star Trek.
General Chang, show some respect.
Fun fact, that was originally the Predator, and we found out a few weeks before the episode aired that we weren't allowed to use the Predator.
Wow.
Which is weird, because, once again, that's a property that they own.
It's apparently some, like, very complicated legal battle thing that, like, may have started occurring between when we made the episode and when the episode was going to air, because we only found out when we were working on the promotional art for that Halloween special, and we sent, a sketch to the legal department. They're like, oh, actually, we can't use the Predator. And we're like, in the promotional art or at all? And they're like, at all. I'm like, well, we have a problem. So that was like, yeah, we had to very hastily redesign that character. And, it's a good thing he's only in a couple scenes because he had to be completely reanimated.
This is kind of slightly beside the point before we get into the meat of part 2, but when exactly did they decide to just go with calling them the solar opposites in the show? Do you remember?
I don't remember when we first started making that joke. Yeah, I don't remember.
Because I kind of love it.
Yeah, yeah.
It is part of the occasional fourth wall humor that the show has.
Yeah.
We didn't mention it in the first episode, but they opened the coffin for the cadaver that will become the Crypt Keeper, and Jesse said, "It smelled like 101 Dalmatians took a shit in here." Wait, Disney Legal's calling me.
Yeah.
So it's like the having them call themselves the solar opposites, having opposites eventually be their surnames. It's kind of a nice little fourth wall nudge there.
Yeah, I think it also harkens back to them kind of learning about humanity via pop culture and, watching a lot of TV and just like watching all these sitcoms. It's like, oh, I guess this is how, humans refer to themselves. I guess this is our last name now.
Yeah, I just love the joke of like, the solar opposites are, doing whatever this week,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't exactly remember when that started, but I know it wasn't like, from episode 1.
Yeah, I feel like it was maybe like second or third season we started doing that. I'm sure Terry makes a declaration at some point. I don't remember what episode we first did that in.
He said the solar opposites are doing this. Like, wait, is that what we're calling ourselves now? Yeah, that's what we're calling ourselves now.
And then I think the first time they use it as a surname, that somebody in the school says like Jesse Opposite or something, and I was like, oh, they're like really going all in on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not hate it. It's like I was like, oh, okay, we're doubling down on this, and I'm kind of digging it. But yeah, so talking about continuity and stuff, Corvo ends the first special killing the Great Pumpkin, and it comes back to bite him in the second special because it turns out it runs on Santa Claus rules.
Yep.
If you kill the Great Pumpkin, you become the Great Pumpkin.
Yep, so Corvo starts slowly transforming into a jack-o'-lantern looking guy. We had to do so many different designs of Corvo for that episode.
I love that this show is so disgusting and weird that the first part of the transformation is his eyeballs popping out of his skull.
Yeah!
I love that so much. Bravo to the design team that, like, you just get the triangular, jack-o'-lantern things at first, and then, but you don't know what's going on. It's just his eyeballs suddenly pop out of his head.
Yeah, and then his teeth start to fall out. It's just like, dude, what's happening?
Yeah.
And then, the first big thing, yeah, you're the new Great Pumpkin.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a trope in the show and they call on it. It's like, if someone's bothering them, they just laser them.
Yes. Oh, that's the solution to all of life's problems is some kind of ray gun.
I wish that was the solution to all my problems.
Just point a laser gun and, melt them or something.
Yes.
But yeah, because she's magical, science can't kill a magical being, at least in this episode.
Yeah. That was the witchlet was a design that actually went through a lot of iterations because while we were designing, like actually for most of this season, the writer's strike was happening. And so our showrunners, because they are like also writers on the show, weren't allowed to work on the show while the strike was happening. So they weren't allowed to give us notes. So it was our producer giving us notes on a lot of the designs, just kind of based on what she thought the showrunners wanted. Part of me thinks she was maybe talking to them, but I don't know. I cannot deny or confirm. But yeah, that was one where it was like described one way in the script, and I kept doing what I thought they wanted, and it kept getting kicked back to me. So there's a bunch of different little witchlet designs that are on my computer.
I love a lot of the various designs in this. I love that as the solar opposites go into their various Halloween forms, like, I cannot help but absolutely adore the Yumulak sexy kitten thing.
Yes, that was a very fun one. I like Yumulak sexy cat.
But not only just the design, but the way that they have him talk and interact with, like, that it's not just like sexy kitten, but it's like sexy
like
sorority chick. Like,
yeah.
And I love how Jesse just keeps like trying to shave the werewolf fur into like different kinds of, cool looking hairstyles, and it just doesn't work.
Yep.
And then of course we've got Terry, in his ghost form, absolutely loving life. As he's, fading in and out of things.
Something I thought was funny rewatching the episode, there's that scene where Terry is trying to disguise himself, but just by putting a sheet over himself and becoming an even shittier ghost.
Yeah, I love that he was like, yeah, now you just look like an even cheaper ghost.
Yeah. And so when he turns the lights off and there's stains on him, something that wasn't there in the first take of the animation is the post team added more, gross stains on the bed behind him. But something that seems to happen like with all of these episodes is like they get grosser in post. Because whenever I go back and watch the final episodes, like, oh, okay, we added a bunch more like gross stuff.
Who knows what kind of freaky shit Corvo and Terry are in that bedroom.
Well, I think we do know what kind of gross shit they get up to in that bedroom because we've seen a lot of it over the course of the series. Can we just talk about that for like half a second? Because I love that when we last talked about this show, we only had season 1 to go off of. And in season 1, they kind of did the Corvo-Terry relationship as like a wink-nudge thing. But by this point in the series, like, they're like fully a couple.
Oh, yeah. No, every season they just get gayer and gayer, and season 6 is no exception. Yeah, I do think it's funny if you listen to interviews from the first season where Mike McMahon's like, yeah, I don't know, they're like teammates. Who knows if something will happen? They're just, they're just friends. It's like, nah.
They were just roommates.
They were just roommates.
I mean,
they're just guys being dudes.
That give each other blowjobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. For coupons.
I just like the full-on personality change of Yumulak becoming the sexy cat girl, because he goes from like Halloween sucks and I'm super serious to, he basically goes from emo teenage boy to horny teenage girl.
Yep.
Well, isn't that the joke about Halloween though? Is that like it's the time to get your slut on? And I think that's what Yumulak finally figured out.
Yeah. What's funny about designing sexy cat Yumulak is like it's like he wasn't dressed as a cat. He is the sexy cat that people are dressed as. And so he is a cat, but he's still like this humanoid cat person.
But I do like it because it's the opposite of what you would think each one would be in terms of Yumulak and Jessie. Jessie, you would think would be the sex pot cat girl, and Yumulak would be the werewolf. And I do like that they kind of switched that up.
Yeah.
I do like that Jessie's design still has her little polka dot dress
Mm-hmm.
over the werewolf, whereas Yumulak is completely a different design.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if we did any designs. We might have done a few designs with like Jessie in like a plaid shirt or something, but they wanted to keep her dress.
Like, considering the pop culture-ness of the show, I'm surprised they didn't have her in Michael J. Fox Teen Wolf attire.
Yeah,
we did Teen Wolf in another episode, and I think like there are times where they don't like to step on existing jokes too much.
But I do get wanting to have Jessie being recognizable with her dress.
Yeah.
I do like how this episode's been so completely out of nowhere. So, like, there's kind of no way to see this plot coming.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, we're gonna join a country club, which is something that Corvo very much wants, and the rest of them kind of don't seem that into. And so Corvo's like, we have to be very boring and ordinary. And then they get taken over by the crazy Halloween spirit stuff. And then you find out that, like, the guy that's been trying to get them, Ranch White, most made-up name ever, as is pointed out to them later. The guy that's been trying to get them into the country club is actually just using them to steal their Halloween chaos energy because he's, like, the spirit of Thanksgiving or something.
Yeah, it just keeps, like, adding on different things. Like, yeah, you really can't predict where this episode is going to go.
The idea of the spirit of Thanksgiving being a giant blob of gravy.
We've
not a
distilled
turkey.
It down. It's gravy. It's been gravy this whole time.
Not a turkey, not a pilgrim, not a cornucopia, just gravy.
Gravy.
The back end of this has one of my favorite designs, and bravo to whoever designed it. The cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
Because it is the proper cranberry sauce, is the cranberry jello canned goodness with the ridges.
Yeah, I gave that to one of our designers who loves designing monsters, and he designed like maybe 20 different just like Thanksgiving themed mutant monsters, and our showrunners picked their favorites, but we knew that like the cranberry sauce had to be in there somewhere, because that's a key icon of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but it wasn't like the one that has like the berries in it. No, it's that absolutely smooth gelatin cranberry sauce.
The canned cranberry sauce, yeah.
Yeah.
I also personally found it funny that like, because this is a thing in my family's house, but that like the Martinelli's bottle, the bottle of sparkling cider, is apparently a Thanksgiving icon. Because that made it in there too. Because that's absolutely a thing that my family does.
And the giblets and the turkey and the the drumsticks and the wishbones.
Yep.
You could tell that there weren't like a lot of, if any, Southerners on there, because that was definitely not a Southern Thanksgiving. There were no except for the canned cranberry sauce and the turkey, and gravy and stuff. None of the Southern staples were in there.
Yeah.
Well, what would you have put in as a Halloween mutant? Or, excuse me, what would you put in there as a Thanksgiving mutant?
Well, I mean, like, there's always got to be mac and cheese. There's always got to be, weirdly, there's always got to be some sort of baked ham, even at Thanksgiving. And there's always got to be biscuits, because it's the South, and screw you, biscuits. And there's always that weird green bean casserole with the French fried onions on top. Like, I don't know if that's a thing in other parts of the nation, but every Southern Thanksgiving I've ever been to, that is always a thing that somebody has to bring. So yeah, those are kind of things that I think of when I think of Thanksgiving as well, Yeah,
let me see. Okay. I found okay. So I'm looking at the original lineup of monsters, and it includes the ones that we didn't pick. And there is it looks like a mashed potato. It's like a mix of mashed potatoes, green beans, and he has the fried onions on his head.
Yay!
And there's a different mashed potato monster, one of which is wearing a gravy boat. There's one that's like an entire turkey instead of just a drumstick. Yeah, I wish we could have used more of them because they're all really funny.
The thing is that the thing that kind of, I understand Thanksgiving being upset, but Thanksgiving is really like targeting the wrong holiday here because it is not Halloween that is taking away from Thanksgiving, and we all know it.
Halloween is holding the line to make sure Christmas doesn't get into July.
I mean, look, if you're a weak-ass holiday like Thanksgiving and you want to go up against one of the bigger holidays, are you going to take on the big guy? Or are you going to maybe like weasel your way into Halloween? I think this speaks to Grand Brown Gravy being a bit of a coward.
I mean, if this is Canadian Thanksgiving, that's before Halloween.
It's not. So, it's American Thanksgiving.
That's the thing. It's American Thanksgiving. So it's gotta, that would have been a hell of a special where you have the Canadian brown gravy and the American brown gravy.
Maybe if we'd gotten like a dozen more seasons.
Okay.
A season 11 special.
Yeah.
But, Thanksgiving is primarily so much known as a, North American holiday that it would be kind of not really that relevant to anyone watching from outside North America.
Sure. But animation loves to be, honestly, even like deeper inside baseball than this. Other countries, what are those?
I found out something fun about Bob's Burgers, just talking about other countries and stuff like that. There's a thing where if you ever see the kids in the school eating tacos, they eat them weirdly, which is that they'll eat them from the top down. Like, they don't eat them from the side like normal people would eat a taco. They'll take a bite like from the top. And apparently it came from a miscommunication when they sent it off to the Korean animation.
Okay, so it's being animated in a country that doesn't have tacos, so they don't know what tacos are eaten.
Well, it wasn't necessarily that. I think originally they had written in the script that the kids were gonna be eating like sandwiches or burgers or something.
Okay.
And so they animated it for that. And then by the time it went to air, it was like somebody had drawn the background and it was like Taco Tuesday or something in the background. So they had to change what the kids were eating to like match the background or whatever.
Oh my
God.
God.
So then it became like a joke in the fandom, and they kept animating it that whenever the kids ate tacos, like even at home, they would eat them like they were eating a burger.
Oh God, that's really funny.
And so one time they even animated it correctly, and the fandom got really annoyed. They were like, wait,
tacos on Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, and so they started writing it in to like, even when they're eating tacos, they eat them like they're eating a burger. And so it's become like a joke. So now if you watch Bob's Burgers and you see them eating tacos and you're like, they're eating them weird, that's apparently like what happened.
Oh my God.
It was like some kind of miscommunication between various departments about what they were supposed to be eating. And it's become like a running gag. So I love when stuff like that happens with like weird little animation goofs.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I will say about this second special is I love that the storyline ends up merging the A plot and the B plot together, because that so rarely happens. Like in the first special, you had the A plot of like the Crypt Keeper and the, all that. And then you had the B plot of Yumulak in hell. And then at the end, the pupas just kind of like, Yumulak. And they were like, oh yeah, where is he? And then they like go rescue him from hell. And they're like, oh yeah, sorry, we didn't realize you were gone this whole episode. We've been like busy with the Crypt Keeper. But in this episode, you have the A plot of most of the family dealing with like the chaos or whatever, and then you have Pupa and JK7's little robot trying to kill the witchlet and not being able to. And then at the end of the episode, the witchlet still being alive is the thing that saves them.
Yeah.
Which I liked that was the resolution. That it was like, okay, the B plot was not just a B plot. It was like it actually tied back in and was the resolution to the A plot.
Just Pupa and JK on their little power wheels. So cute.
Yeah.
I do like that, again, it's part of, the way the show goes with subversions, how you think Corvo finally understands what makes Halloween cool, why people love it. And he goes on and on about, costumes and candy and seeing someone in a weird costume puking on the street, all these things that various people will love about Halloween. And of course, the kicker. And no one has to listen to their racist uncle.
Yeah.
Like you were here at, most Thanksgiving dinners. But, yeah.
And I even told you Tuesday off mic that I was like, that is my favorite part of this episode, because I'm like, that is what makes Halloween amazing, is because, yes, that is, you're not forced to listen to like crazy racist family members during Halloween.
But you think that, this is Corvo finally understanding why, Terry and Jesse love Halloween so much. So, which earns him, quote, earns him the title of Great Pumpkin. Says, no, I was just repeating what Terry said last year. And I still hate Halloween. I'm scared of Halloween. Actually, I'm scared shitless of you, Miss Witch. So, like, he still hates Halloween. He just said it because he knew it would work to bring the power of Halloween back.
I do also like that he figured out how to give up the power of the Great Pumpkin to the witch. And so now it's like a Great Pumpkin Witch that is the spirit of Halloween. And it makes her so happy.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think that the spirit of Halloween would just be a witch to begin with. But, already establishing the Great Pumpkin. Okay, so let's make this witch the Great Pumpkin, and we can have these two Halloween icons in one.
And also the witch pumpkin is a good design at the end.
Oh yeah.
Because it's a good blending.
Well, that was you. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
I took all of the Great Witch stuff because I really love her. So I did the witchlet, and the Great Pumpkin Witch.
Did you design all the witchlet deaths? Because some of those are just amazing.
I mean, those I think were in the script, and yeah, like I think the effects. One of our effects guys did the like exploding guts stuff. But yeah, those were written in the script, and then the storyboard team drew those.
Yeah, the visuals on the various like attempts to kill off the witchlet was just absolutely like not only kind of weirdly grotesquely beautiful, but also just hilarious. But the thing I like about the resolution to this, though, and kind of weirdly, the thing about this is that unlike most holiday specials, Corvo does not learn the meaning of Halloween. Like at the end, he still doesn't like Halloween. And I think that's kind of why Halloween is my favorite holiday. Because every other holiday, including like Thanksgiving and stuff, it's kind of, as Weird Al would put it, mandatory fun, And you're kind of like, oh, if you don't like this holiday, you're awful. But like, even people who really love Halloween, we're kind of chill with people who don't like Halloween. Like, if Halloween's not your thing, I don't know a single, like, really into it Halloween person that will, like, absolutely give you grief for not being into Halloween. It's like, well, it's my thing, but if it's not your thing, that's cool. Mm-hmm. Enjoy your end of October, Like,
yeah, like as long as somebody's not being like actively shitty about not liking Halloween, it's like, all right, man, you do you.
Like, as long as you're not trying to ban Halloween stuff.
Sure.
Like, you don't have to do any, you don't have to like come to a party or wear a costume or decorate your house or whatever. You can ignore things. Just don't try to like stop other people from having fun.
Yep.
But if it's not your thing, okay, fine. But like other holidays, if you're not participating, people give you like the worst grief, Mm-hmm. And it's like, you don't even have to be like trying to ban anything or whatever. You can just be like, no thanks, I'm just going to sit this one out. And people will be like, you're the worst, you're awful, you're a Grinch, you're a, wet blanket, you're a whatever. And it's like, no, you can go have fun. Just, I'm going to sit over here and do my own thing,
Yeah.
And that's why I love Halloween, is because for the most part, if you don't want to do Halloween things, nobody really gives you grief for it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you do your own thing and then we'll do ours and it's fine. You know, just don't try to stop either group from doing whatever they want, you know?
Right.
And that's kind of why I like this special, is like, yeah, okay, the family tries to get Corvo into it, but at the end he was like, I still don't like Halloween. And they're like, you know, like.
But Corvo, for as much of a stick in the butt as he can be in the show, still loves his family and uses his one wish to give them a really kick-ass Halloween party.
Yeah. I kind of feel like, he still doesn't like Halloween, but he's maybe got a better understanding of why his family loves Halloween.
Yeah. Corvo's not a bad guy. He's pretty awesome for a plant.
I'll throw one more in, is the use of Halloween music in these two specials. Obviously, we get, Oingo Boingo's Dead Man's Party in the first one, and Spooky Scary Skeletons in the second one. And I just really love that those two songs are like on everyone's Halloween playlist, regardless. And I do like that they just use those songs in the two specials.
They may have been sound-alikes. I don't know if we were actually able to use the actual recording of the songs, but I know that in the past we have recorded very similar sound-alikes. Which, again, I don't know what the legalities are.
It was, in fact, Dead Man's Party, and the Spooky Scary Skeletons was a remix, I believe. But it wasn't a sound-alike, it was a remix. So I'm not sure if it was the original audio remixed or if it was like a cover version, but it was the actual lyrics and whatever. So
yeah, I mean, generally we keep the lyrics and we keep all of the sound of it, but it's like there's something about using the original recording versus recording our own version that keeps the lyrics and sounds almost exactly the same. And I don't know.
Well, the Dead Man's Party was the original recording. I can tell you that. But the Spooky Scary Skeletons was a remix at the very least, because it's a dance mix.
Well, so, that's the version that everyone uses on TikTok and stuff. So is the dance mix. But I think it was a cover of the dance mix. Because I've heard that dance mix so many times. Like, okay, it's a little bit different. It is the song, so it's probably just covered the song for the episode, which is still cool. So, as we've stated, this episode is going up on the day the final season of Solar Opposites is being released to Hulu. Lindsay, you want to give us one last push for the final season?
Yeah, everybody, please watch this last season. The more eyes that are on it, the more views we get, I think, better likelihood we have that, either Hulu regrets their decision to cancel us or somebody else decides to scoop us up, because I know that our showrunner is trying his best. But it's just,
or maybe a movie or.
Yeah, something. We have a better chance of more of this being made the more people watch the show.
I mean, it could be a situation like, Family Guy got brought back because of reruns being aired on TV. Same with Futurama. I know that the episodes of Solar Opposites have been airing on FXX lately. So maybe if enough eyes are on that, it could be brought back for that network.
Yeah. I went to the Solar Opposites series wrap party, and our showrunner gave a speech that was like, I've seen Futurama come back. I've seen Family Guy come back. I just saw King of the Hill come back. We're gonna come back. And so he's pretty determined. But yeah, it's like everybody watch this. That it only helps us out. We worked very hard. I made it during one of the worst years of my life, and it was one of the best things happening in my life at the time. It's got a lot of really cute episodes. If anybody out there likes Bluey, we do a Bluey nod.
Bluey!
It's just I feel like this show just keeps getting cuter and sweeter and weirder and funnier, and season 6 is no exception. So everybody, please watch it. It was made with love.
And even though Solar Opposites is no longer in production, you were saying something that you're working on a new show. You want to talk a little bit about? It's not Disney related.
No, this time. I can talk about it because it was announced at Comic-Con. I did some character design work on the new Rick and Morty spinoff called President Curtis, about the character of the president from Rick and Morty. And I don't remember how much they talked about at Comic-Con, but yeah, he's out there going on kind of supernatural adventures, and it's another very fun show. I really enjoyed working on it, got to do a lot of fun designs. I don't know when that show is going to be out. I would guess probably late 2026 at the earliest, but I really don't know because, it's still currently in production. But yeah, I was lucky enough to get on that. And that, again, is a show made by a lot of very talented people. And I had a lot of fun on it. Everybody was really nice. So I'm looking forward to people seeing that show as well.
So keep an eye out for President Curtis on Adult Swim. Lindsay worked on it.
Yeah.
Let us ask the question, does the Solar Opposites Halloween specials have the magic, Kiki?
Yes.
Lindsay?
Well, I don't know.
Yes. I'm going to say yes to this entire show is awesome. And I hope that there is a future for these characters for this show in some capacity, whether it is reviving it on another network or another streaming service or something. These characters are way too good to just let them go away like this. And I hope something happens with these characters at some point in the future.
Yeah, and maybe after everybody gets a chance to watch season 6, we might have to have Lindsay back to talk about a full series retrospective.
Maybe, just maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you are listening to this, dear listener, all 10 episodes of season 6 are now available on Hulu. Go forth and binge.
We are recording this obviously before that, so we haven't seen anything yet. But yeah.
Well, 2 of us have no idea. And one of us isn't talking.
That's right.
So, Lindsay, do you want to plug yourself on any socials or tell us about anything else, or you good?
I am the Linz, THALINZ, on a lot of social media. I'm not super active on social media these days, but where you can find me occasionally, art appears. Yeah.
Right. As for next week, we are going to get into a franchise that is very near and dear to, I'm pretty sure, all 3 of us. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the original movie from 1992, which means we get to talk more about Paul Reubens and we get to talk about
the greatest death scene in all of history.
And some Luke Perry as well.
Yeah.
So come back next week for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the original movie, and we will talk to you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Don't let the magic stop here.
Keep the conversation going. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Rewatching the Magic.
We are also on Blue Sky, rewatchingthemagic.bsky.social. And new episodes are available at rewatchingthemagic.podbean.com and youtube.com/@rewatchingthemagic. Remember, the magic is for everyone.
It only stops if you let it.
We know that right now, things are tough.
But in the words of Jim Henson, the only way the magic works is by hard work. But hard work can be fun.
Check out our show notes for ways that you can help.